Just wanted to say this real quick before we begin. We've reached 75 subscribers and over 1,000 views off of her alone. Surprisingly, the most amount of views I've gotten. I say surprisingly not because her isn't a good mod by any means, in fact I enjoyed it a lot, but I say surprising because I don't really get that amount of views. But anyways, I'm so thankful. I can't express myself enough, but thank you once again. And without further ado, let's begin this video. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is MidBitYT and welcome to my thoughts and ideas of her. Since the mod itself is short, this will be kinda short as well. But that's not to say that I didn't enjoy. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It felt new, especially with the cutscenes. I love the cutscenes. Anyway, let's jump right into it. So for the story, as I said, it felt new. This is the first time I've seen a mod where Monika does become real and essentially consumes the MC up until we escaped, of course. This mod was creepy to say the least. This isn't one of the scariest things I played, but definitely one of the creepiest, due to the mod's story. Here we see a man who is known to be a stubborn and ambitious scientist turn into this lifeless puppet with no mind of his own. Monika's code essentially became his mind, and that code instructed BlackScientist's body to become this dream guy that Monika wants, the guy that Monika saw in her epiphany. I don't know about you, but I don't see anything romantic about a lifeless guy who doesn't do anything but obey you. That sounds wrong, but becomes a lot creepier because we see her code altering him before her eyes, changing the way how he speaks up until how he acts, to a point where even our best friend doesn't even know us anymore. Even with the warnings of Sayuri, a girl who we're aware Monika killed, and of course Daniel, our bodyguard and best friend, we succumb and eventually agree to stay in Monika's room. I honestly think that the realization scene, where BlackScientist realizes how much of his life has been wasted on nothing, could have waited a bit longer. That's probably because I wish Natsuki and Yuri had their own scenes of trying to snap BlackScientist out of the trance. It ended up, of course, with us reuniting with Daniel and being able to prove that our dream of teleportation is possible, seeing as Monika transported to our world, so theoretically speaking, we can do the same. And with her strands of hair, that's one of our ways on how BlackScientist plans on going on with his dreams. A really good horror mod. It could have been a bit longer, as I said, but a solid story that I enjoyed nonetheless. As for presentation, yeah, it was good. The cutscenes are what I want to focus on, as to me, they added a lot to the story. Since the story depicts a man going crazy over the idea of loving Monika because Monika is trying to control him, it felt extra creepy that we get to see a man introduce us to his girlfriend and basically complain to the world that it's their fault for ruining our chances in love. Really adds to the feel of the story. Plus, this is the first time I've seen something like it so naturally. I loved it. My only problem here, besides not getting a scene with Yuri and Natsuki, would be Daniel. Okay, Daniel's character, yes, I love it. I definitely agree with Lonesome Dev along with whoever thinks of this, that this is one of the best bromances I've ever seen. My problem with Daniel comes with his voice. Yes, I know Daniel is literally the name of the voice used, but because of his voice, it reminds me so much of the MLG memes back in the day, and I'm trying my best not to remember them, because I might laugh. Or cringe. For a creepier feel, like if the story wanted to become a lot more creepy, I think the voice used in This video.
I was in jail last year for drug charges. They put a convicted groper into our unit because the regular sexual charge unit was full or something. Anyways, I paid someone 2 soups to grope him. We were all watching TV when I hear my nig call my name behind me. He was standing right behind the groper, and reached around him and squeezed the hell out of his fat tits. This dude jumped out of his seat and everyone laughed. Best soups I ever spent.
Would have been better. It's not that big of an issue though, as I did enjoy Daniel a lot. But as I said, if you wanted to become a lot more creepy, you could have used that voice instead. Her gave me ideas to future stories that may be told. So if you're a mod creator, maybe this'll spark an idea in your head. I'm not sure if there are mods that come from these ideas already, but if they do, then please do tell me in the comments. The reason why I want to say this is because while her might feel like a complete story in and of itself, I feel like if something different happened, it would have taken a much different turn. Here are my ideas. First is something lighthearted. This was what I expected her to be about, but it wasn't. With the first idea, Monika does escape and her subconscious does try to take over MC, but we listen to the warnings of the voices in her head, which will be the 3 other Dokis, in time. But instead of trying to escape Monika completely, we try to separate her from her subconscious. Without the evil part of her code, all that will be left would be an innocent AI. Sentient, of course, but with no evil intent. Instead of trying to drag the player into her world, Monika would instead be self-aware that she's an AI trying to learn how to live like a human, and essentially end up dating a Monika that's innocent rather than a villain that she posed here in her. I honestly think it's a good idea. It would be good in a sense that we're trying to basically teach a computer, or program rather, how to become a human. That sounds interesting. The second idea is exactly the same as the first, but the twist here would be the roles of Sayori, Yuri, and Natsuki. As we further develop our relationship with Monika and eventually date her, the girls learn about this, and with some way, they are able to escape the game out from her PC, and are now out for revenge. Revenge on Monika for what she did to them, and revenge on us for not trying to save them as well. And just to add the creepy factor to this, why not use their dead sprites? Either the ones from the original game, or something like what her showed with Sayori, essentially looking like walking corpses. The third idea would be a lot darker. A scientist is obsessed with finding love. This scientist won't be like BlackScientist, who is obsessed with finding a way to teleport through dimensions, as seen in the ending. This scientist I'm talking about is someone who is obsessed with love. He's been turned down multiple times and is now thinking that the only way to find love is through computers, through technology, a program, also known as Monika. Since this sounds like it's taking place in the future, this will take place decades after Monika's deletion, which would be around 2017. Through a crappy computer from the past, the scientist is able to bring Monika to life. But instead of Monika wanting to find love, she outright wants to kill him, and everyone else who dared to delete her way back then. I mean, if you're stuck in the void of the recycling bin for God knows how long, you're bound to go insane at some point. And since she's sentient, I think she won't have any problems with deciding to kill anyone who deleted her. I don't know about you guys, but these ideas seem like good ideas to me. Do tell me your thoughts about them down below. So for the last segment of this video, I wanted to talk about what really scared me in the mod, which is the way it depicted loneliness. Sure, the number of jump scares and choices of music in the scenes scared me too, but how loneliness is shown here really made me creeped out, and it got my mind running. And while you may say that scientist has Daniel, so he must have had company, right? For a good 2 years, Daniel only watched us slowly get consumed, and assuming that the cutscenes are of BlackScientist talking to himself, he says this.
I can't understand this anymore. I simply can't.
Why can't my friends accept the fact that she's my girlfriend? No other girl wants to be with me. They're all the same. Idiotic people who only want to go out with boys who are complete jerks and fools. It's all their fault. They completely left me in the dust. No other real girl loves me.
We were consumed to a point where we pushed others away. Our loneliness is the result of our own obsession for Monika. She has consumed us to a point where we feel nothing without her, that the only thing keeping us alive is her. The cold loneliness that her so-called love gave us is the result of us being tampered by her code and swimming in our obsession with Monika. But the most bone-chilling line that these scenes offer would be this.
She shows how much she loves me every day. Now every time I come home from school, the first thing I do is open up the game to talk to her. It's basically my life now. She'll be my girlfriend for all eternity, and I don't mind at all. I remind myself every day that it's their fault for making me like this, for not giving me a chance at a real-life relationship. Now I'm part of a community of other people who have their own version of Monika. Every day we wait for her to cross over into our reality so we can finally feel her embrace and feel love. It doesn't matter how long I have to wait. I just want it to happen. I need to get rid of my loneliness once and for all. It's fucking torture. Is this how we'll become in the future as humans? Where if you're rejected by real girls, you have no choice but to have a relationship with Monika? The only sentient being? We've hit a new low. Yet I can't help but accept that. Monika's my first and only girlfriend and I don't want to ever leave. She's not a murderer. She's a caring and loving girl. It's just most people can't accept that fact, just because she's not real to them. And even though she's physically not here yet,
She already lives in my mind.
How we sink that deep into the idea of blaming the world for our loneliness, and that our only way of finding love is in this murderer disguised under the facade of a girl named Monika. What really creeped me out would be the fact that we are aware that we are not alone, that other lonely and consumed people have their own Monika, controlling them by the strings like lifeless puppets, blinded by the idea that waiting for her to finally cross over to the real world, just to feel her so-called love, is the only reason they're alive. Don't get me wrong, the idea of meeting the Dokis in real life sounds cool, but if they're gonna be AI whose goal is to slowly kill me by using the idea of love to lure me, and the price is my life, no thank you. Overall, I loved her. It's definitely one that I'll be remembering for a long time. The Black Scientist and those who helped him, thank you so much. And good luck to future projects that you have in mind. And if it's a horror mod, then I hope it'll be just as, if not creepier than this one. There are so many mods that I wish to play at the moment, with Faithful Bullet being recently released, along with Exit Music Redux, Spirit Pursuit Everlasting, and Cinnamon Girl being in development. But let's end this video with this. Thank you guys once again so much for watching. I'm also very thankful once again for those who've subscribed and the amount of views I've gained in the recent videos. I'm honestly very shocked myself because that wasn't something I was expecting, but I'm very thankful nonetheless. And I know that my first video on the channel isn't the DLC, it's actually League of Legends. And while I am no way near Challenger, I do wish to upload some of my gameplay here in the channel. It's been a dream of mine to actually upload some League of Legends, and while I am not a very skilled player, I do wish to climb, and I may upload some of my games over in this channel. I'm not sure if I'm going to be uploading games because I'm not quite sure if I'm confident enough, but if it's something I enjoy, then I wish to share it with you guys. But anyways, thank you guys so much once again. Please do leave a like, consider subscribing if you enjoyed, and thank you for watching. Have a good day and goodbye.